I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video, we're going to be looking over September predictions and blessings and all those good things, because I've got stacks on stacks on stacks of cards, because I want to thoroughly go over money, love, spirituality, and everything in between. As you can see, we've got 4 groups in front of us. Group number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want you to pick the group that resonates with you most. I'm going to give you a moment to do so. Now that you've done that, you can go down to the description where you can go to your designated group with its marked timestamp. But let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's look at those September predictions by looking at the cards. Okay, first I have 2 oracle cards I'm going to go over to look at the general theme of what's going on right now. We have Spirit of Place in reverse and Smithsonianite. Wow, okay, I already get a very strong theme going on here. This is definitely going to be a month where, how do I put this? You've been going through a rocky time for a while, and you're still going to need to push through this month to have a better experience. But we're getting more detailed about what is actually bothering you. So this is the month to fix it, because with Smithsonianite, it's so hard for me to say these names. This is the promise that it's getting better. It's actually much better than you realize, and you're finally finding your footing, and it's going to be a lot easier. We will see in greater detail if anything specific popping up is going to be this big, beautiful blessing, but it is a blessing within itself to get out of the slump. You know what I mean? So first over here with this Spirit of Place in reverse oracle card, this is when you are getting too fixated on the details. And this is something really important. You have to constantly check back in with yourself over this month and say, am I more focused on how I want it to be rather than how I need it to be, if that makes sense? Am I allowing all the little details of what I want prevent the better and bigger blessing, the thing I didn't even know to ask for? Am I allowing these details to be something that kind of dictate my emotional status? Like, am I saying, I want this to happen, and if the thing doesn't happen, I then fixate on it? You see what I'm saying? In this case, this is a great time to back away and start generalizing the things you want. I want to be happy. I want to, I anticipate a lot of love and success for myself and with others. I anticipate that I'm going to find wonder in the world. Just start creating general manifestations and affirmations that are bigger every time you find yourself getting into little nitty-gritty details. Because at the end of the day, you can look at your track record and be like, has that really fixed anything or made anything better? Well, clearly that's not working. Let's do something different logically. And this is the difference. And you just want to keep track of that, because often when we have this sort of reoccurring habit, you could say, you could slip into it accidentally again. You don't need to beat yourself up when that happens. Just catch yourself and go back to generalized statements and allow the universe to fix out all the minor details. You're going to be happy in the end with what happens, but you don't always need to necessarily know the detailed process. Sometimes that's important because you're learning a life lesson or something like this, but in this case, the life lesson and general momentum forward is pulling away and not knowing all the details. Going on from that, the Smithsonianite crystal oracle card is talking about the idea that you're coming from a place that's difficult, rocky, uncomfortable. It hasn't been great. It definitely refers to the past. But this crystal talks about the idea that you're finding your footing. You're now able to look at that past and then learn from it successfully. You're gaining a sense of clarity. You're gaining a sense of rebirth from all this chaos you've been feeling. And chaos in the sense that, here's the funny thing. My spirit guide actually told me there is never chaos ever. Period. Which I was like, what? Really? And they were like, oh yeah, everything has a meaning. But chaos is a good word to describe when you feel like a bunch of things are happening around you and you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what it means, which is why it makes sense you were looking up, all the details. You wanted to gain some sense of footing through that manner. That's not working anymore. We're changing it up. We're changing up our technique of how we're going to fix it. And this is talking about how you do gain that sense of clarity. You do gain that footing. It's a lot easier from now on, and is our hint and clue and indicator of where you came from last. So now let's keep pulling cards. This is our money spread. We have Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the Devil, and Five of Cups upright. Okay. So the good thing about what's going on over here is it's a little rough, but the good news is that it's coming from you and not outside sources. And the reason why I say that it's good is sometimes when it comes to outside sources, it's a little trickier to dodge. Some things are inevitable for a variety of reasons. Fun fact, I always like to go into fun facts here. Did you know that karma contracts are a thing, and that before you came into your body, you chose a lot of things that were going to occur? Not every time. There is a lot of free will and, clauses of, if you do this, then it will equal this, but you could also choose choice B or C, and there's lots of choices going on in between. But sometimes things are inevitable. In this case, it's not. It's really just an attitude-based and a perception-based situation for you. So we can fix this. So keep in mind that as I go over the cards. So going on over here, I can see over here in the Devil card and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse card. I mean, honestly, the Five of Cups too. This is an issue coming again from the past. The Five of Cups says there's just going to be a lacking mindset. Keep in mind, lacking mindset. This is not a Five of Pentacles card that is guaranteeing actual lacking. This is like an emotional reaction from you. So you feel like you're without. There's a sense of disappointment, of like you didn't get the thing you wanted. But remember, we talked about how sometimes you don't get the thing you want, but then you get the thing you need, and you're a lot happier and better off because you didn't know what you needed to ask for. So again, keep that in mind. But it seems like this is a very big focus emotionally for you in September that we want to change up and shift you out of, because then that's what's going on over here. This is kind of sort of a cycle affecting itself. Over here in the Devil card, it specifically is referring to the past dictating a negative perspective and habit that you have over and over and over again that you've caught yourself in. With the Devil card, this is something that might give you a sense of clarity and comfort. This card pops up when we feel like we have a hole in our life, metaphorically, and we're trying to fill it with other things, and nothing ever seems to successfully fulfill that, because the reality is you're unaware of the right thing. Is it's like wanting money, but you really need love, and then you gain the love and you get the money. Does that make sense? I'm not saying you can't wish for money, but the way you're focusing on money is what's causing the constant void and then needing to fulfill the void. And in this case, we can get more specific about what that specific habit is with money, and it's your perception of money. So in the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, this is when you're too focused on it, it's like a singular purpose of it's going to give you some form of status. If I get this one thing, it's going to give me this. It's just a little too, you think that money is going to give you X, Y, and Z, and you're just only kind of going for money in that perspective. So then you keep trying to comfort that by maybe with affirmations of like, yeah, I'm going to get the money, I want the money, but you're asking for it for the wrong reasons. Hopefully this is translating well. And then this is what's making you then feel the sense of lacking, because you're like, well, if I'm not allowed to be happy until I gain the sense of money, well then, or I'm not allowed to think I'm worthy enough or good enough unless I gain the sense of money, well then, I'm obviously unhappy now because I don't have it. So you're just more acutely aware of the lacking feeling, and this is what's causing this sort of emotional roller coaster. But here's the cool thing. This starts out with changing your perspective here. Try to change up your inner dialogue. Sometimes it's good to just take a break for a second about thinking about money and just give yourself a clear head. But from that point, after a couple of days of not thinking about it, start to change your inner dialogue. Start to be like, you know what? I'm successful now. And I feel pretty, it doesn't matter what state you're in, tell yourself this. I'm pretty great now. And keep it general. Don't say you're successful because you have friends, or you're successful because, create the scenario you want. You're already there. You're successful, you're successful and you're happy, you like yourself. And then, of course, because you like yourself, and people who like themselves get a lot of money, of course money is coming your way. Of course money's continuing going your way because you feel so great right now. You already feel loved right now. Money's just like a byproduct of this emotion, and shift it up. Again, it's like what we talked about in this oracle card. What was happening before and the perspective on it wasn't working, so let's change the way you're approaching it. You already have it now, and money is just a byproduct, of course. And then this is what's going to give you the fulfillment what you really need, because you're asking for money to fulfill this emotional feeling. So give yourself the emotional feeling. Swivel it up, 180 this, change it up, and give yourself the emotions first, and the money, of course, is going to come and match that energy. That will then fix not only what's going on over here, but then how can you feel like you're lacking when you're not only fulfilled emotionally, so you finally gave yourself the thing that you were really, truly wanting, and because you were asking for the money for it, and then the money will also in addition follow. So this can totally be shifted up and changed. So let's look at now love. We've got 10 of Swords upright, Justice card upright, and 4 of Cups upright. Okay, so we're going to go over both couples and singles. So if you are currently in a relationship, especially this would be a relationship that's not the greatest. You're not that happy in it. It could be pretty bad, implied with the 10 of Swords, but we're keeping this pretty, when it is the 10 of Swords, I'm keeping this pretty broad, because for some people, this is really, 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 really bad. And for some people, it's just more like you're deeply unhappy in your mind about it. You're not in a dangerous situation. You're just not happy and pumped about the current goings on between you and this other person. Either way, that's being represented over here, so I can kind of get a temperature of what's going on with the relationship. I'm going to just tell you right now, with the Justice card popping up here, it is karmic. It is karmic indeed. It's deeply karmic. See, here's the thing. A lot of people believe that if they find their soulmate, they will be happy. But here's the thing. It doesn't always mean that your soulmate is gonna, be the one. How do I put this? You can have many soulmates, different varieties, soulmates through friends, soulmates through coworkers, soulmates through the love of your life. Well, sometimes you're working out past karma, you're fixing the issues between you and this other karmic connection by being with them again. So it doesn't mean you're going to be happier with them or you're meant to be with them in the long run. You have a happier soulmate to be genuinely connected to, but you're figuring out stuff by being with them. And that's what's going on over here in the 4 of Cups. This shows me that you won't find the motivation in September to potentially leave, and there's not really an indication you're going to leave them anytime soon, because you feel such an intense, strong connection to them karmically. Even if it's negative, it's just too enticing to still be with them because the connection is so strong. And connection in general is a very powerful thing, even if it is whether it's positive or negative. And over here with the 4 of Cups, I can see that no one else is going to really pop along right now during this September month that's going to entice you enough out of that connection. So that's why you're kind of in it. That's why you're dealing with it. You can always change the scenario and be like, well, I'm not happy, then I'll just leave them, and then open the doors for when I can meet the soulmate connection that's actually a lot more, happier to be with this other person and a better experience. But in the meantime, this is a huge reason why you essentially haven't left yet, and it's you're not motivated to leave yet. However, for singles, I see that you are moving out of this negative place in your life. I can see you're finally letting go of your sort of guarded walls, you could say, more mindset walls, not energy-based walls, which is important because I know this is going to seem a little spiritual and abstract, but these are real, actual things. We have different sort of frequencies we're putting out there, and sometimes they're more dictated by our mind, sometimes they're dictated by more our energy. I think it's a blessing it was more dictated by your mind, because when our energy's there, I would definitely say that people confuse this sort of energy-based based feeling and wall. Again, I just put a video about energy. I have 2 videos about energy. I can make another video about energy and walls in your subconscious. I can talk about the subject on end. But when you have an energy wall basically blocking you and, making it more difficult, it's harder to work this out. So even if you say a bunch of affirmations in your mind, what happens is the wall comes up subconsciously and you're not sure why you're subconsciously pushing away opportunities. So because this is a mindset based thing, you're overcoming it, and essentially that's the last straw that needed to be solved, and then this is what's opening you up now towards love, which is great. Now, the other thing, though, is while you might be now very clear, I can see in the Justice cards you're very clear, being like, I know what I want, I know what I expect in return, I'm open to it. I'm going to be honest with you, no one's popping up right now. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. This is actually a good thing we're going over this because of the 4 of Cups, because don't allow yourself to be dissuaded just because you don't find anyone this month. That doesn't mean you're not going to find someone, October 1st and really enjoy the connections there. But no, it's kind of it's one of those things where it's like you might run into people that might be potentials, but just no one's getting you excited. And so as you experience the month, allow yourself to be open on love, keep building up this mentality of like, yeah, I got this, I'm connected to me, so that when you flow into the next month and a better option does show up, again, not based on what you're pushing away, but just what is currently available in the universe, you'll be ready for them. Because the last thing I'll just say, just some food for thought, is you can be doing everything right, but your dream person might be needing to catch up to you. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm excited for you. It's going to be a lot easier for you emotionally this month. You're going to enjoy the idea of love. Definitely keep defining in terms of like what you want back, equal exchange of energy, just as much love and attention back as you're willing to give, and vice versa. And that person will come your way, but just understand you're not doing anything wrong, and don't get down on yourself and too into your head, because it's just more of a universe thing that no one's popping up. Do you see what I'm saying? So let's go over spirituality. Oh, I accidentally pulled 4 cards. Oh, yay! Oh gosh, I love this. What a positive ending to a bit of a, I don't want to say difficult month, because there's so much potential for growth if you take it. But I absolutely love that we now get the positive affirmation that, oh my goodness, yes, you will take it, and it's going to work out for you, which is great. We have a double confirmation of what's going on over here. So let's first talk about the emotional state. This again goes back to Spirit of Place Oracle card. When we have a King of Cups in reverse situation, this is a specific kind of emotional balance. While the Queen of Cups is more of a kind of like highs and lows sort of emotional imbalance when it's in reverse, the King of Cups in reverse is more of a singular focus. So think of the Queen of Cups as very flowy in its uncomfortability, and this is more fixation, which we talked about the fixation in details again. So that's, again, we already knew this, but it's a repeated, when it's repeated in this way, it's important for you to know that that's the main issue going on, and that's how you can tackle it. So you're fixating, it's not making you particularly happy, that's a bummer, but what seems to be solving it is this rekindling, we could say, of your passions in life. But more specifically, you're sort of in a fun student stage of asking yourself, what makes me happy? Why did that make me happy? Let me follow that bliss. Let me just notice my emotions and my energy and see how I'm reacting to things and going in deeper into that. And let me have fun understanding this, not put the pressure on myself to simply be it and force the sense of I should be excited about things. I should be happy. I should be this. And more looking into being what, asking the deeper question, what leads you there? How can we get there? What are different things that make you particularly excited? What are temporary? So on and so forth. And as you're sort of in that asking process, again, it's that idea we talked about before, where it's you're approaching it one way, You're reevaluating your approach. You're no longer forcing the ending. You're more having fun during the journey of the process. So definitely keep that as a clue and indicator throughout the month. Whenever you feel an emotional sort of, you're taking a temperature check of how you feel, keep asking yourself, what ignited this? Can I follow it? Can I follow up and reproduce it? This is fun. Cool. This leads to more fun. I didn't know that. And you're basically studying yourself in that kind of way, which is really cool. But that is what helps tackle that, which then leads to the Sun card, which I feel is a ginormous 180 difference of what's going on over here in the King of Cups. When we have a King of Cups situation, the King of Cups is somebody who is singular, and the Sun card is almost absent-minded. I don't want to say it's completely free of thought, but it's so much simpler. It's not only just happiness, it's happiness without all the details like we were talking about before. It's much more general, much more broader, and in the sense that it's covering happiness in it's like one of those feelings when you're like, I don't really exactly know why, but I'm just feeling so grateful and delighted by life. And that's kind of all you need. And it's much bigger scope, I want to say. So this points to you being happy in multiple avenues in life. So I'm very pumped for you in that way. And the Five of Pentacles is the confirmation that, like, yep, you're doing great. You were coming out of a state of lacking and you're moving towards something better. That place you were in was temporary. Now you're out of it. So I'm very excited for you. Definitely, I was going to say, focus on all the things we talked about in order to achieve this ending, but this is the positive affirmation that you will be feeling a lot better. And I want to say one last thing, that it is a huge hint and clue that while love is important and money is important, it seems like spirituality is the key to making everything else work out in your favor. So I love that for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Please let me know what you're particularly excited about for this month and changing around. What's your emotional effect or emotional mindset at the end of the month you're hoping to feel? Like, what would be your version of the Sun card? What's your happy ending you're feeling? And let me know what that specifically entails. I'd love to know. Everyone's got their own version of that. Anyways, I'm wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2, let's look at those September predictions by looking at the cards. We've got Movement Oracle card in reverse and Jade. Oh, okay, I love this for you. Okay, this is fantastic. I'm so excited for you. So the reason why I'm excited, because this is kind of like a blessings where you didn't think to look type of situation, especially when we have the month beginning out in a more movement in reverse situation. This starts out where you feel like you keep making the wrong moves, you feel stagnant. It can even feel like you're taking 2 steps back every time you take 1 step forward, and you just feel off, and it doesn't feel great, and it can often cause a feeling of feeling lost. So if you feel that sensation, keep this in mind, because this card pops up when it's a combination of you and the universe preventing yourself from moving forward, because the place forward is actually a location you didn't think to look in your past. So the past could potentially mean right now. Is the situation you're in right now, whether this be romantic, your job, whatever, is there something you didn't realize you could get out of it? Because that gets confirmed again in the Jade card. The Jade card is realizing you've always been good enough. It's about abundance, but abundance from like a hidden location, so to speak. So there's something right now going on, something you already have or have had. You can easily go back to it. It's super obtainable. But whatever it is you need to move forward, that sense of, maybe this is like a hidden treasure or knowledge. I'm getting a sense of money because of Jade popping up. It's already within your grasp. And so what feels like you're lost and confused is actually trying to prevent you from going down a path you weren't meant to go in. Your path is a little bit of a loop-de-loop, but it's still forward. If that makes sense. So let's go into greater detail. Actually, I'm going to pull these cards for money. We've got Seven of Swords in reverse, Knight of Wands upright. See, I told you. Okay, this is fantastic. And Six of Wands upright. This is, how do I express this? I felt this vibration before I saw the cards, especially when we have the movement card and jade card. There's different forms of abundance. There's different vibes. I don't think it really matters to a lot of people in the end, because whatever form of abundance you get, it's abundance in the end. You know what I mean? Like, who cares if I get a lot of money this way or that way? How does it really matter? But the sort of energy going on, if you care about, when we have these cards going on, is it's like, how do I put this? Instead of you sitting back, laying back, and then just getting a bunch of money thrown at you, it's the sense of like spirited finding yourself and self-discovery and enthusiasm for what you find within yourself that propels you forward. So it's like taking that money, by, what is the metaphor? Like by the hand, by the grip. You're just really grabbing it with gusto. So you not only gain money and abundance in that manner, but you gain a sense of abundance within yourself because you realize all this sort of spirited passion you had hidden away. So let's go into a little bit more detail. Over here in the Seven of Swords in reverse, my spirit guide describes this card as what's going on over here. If you notice this, they've got all this swords, but right here it's a little bit nicked. That could be broken, that could fall apart. If it was upright, that would be of concern for you. How can you possibly defend yourself? A little detail you'd maybe focus on. In this particular case, my spirit guide says it's like realizing that's not a big deal and that you have more than enough adequate protection that you don't need to worry about. And so again, this goes back to the idea in the Jade card. It's you realizing, hey, who I am right now has always been more than good enough. And you're deeply resonating with that, feeling that, and connecting to that. And this is what propels you with what's going on here in the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is this like super intense like enthusiasm for life. You're running forward with intensity. You're like, yeah, that new potential promotion, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna bring my best effort at work. I'm just feeling it. I realize what it does for me. Maybe it's your personal passion in life that gets reignited, or even if it's not your dream job, it's this feeling of like, you know what? It feels good to do my best. I've got this. And the enthusiasm is so intense. My spirit guide says you literally gain a new head for life. Like whatever your old perspectives and mindset, I mean, it gets just totally replaced. So this isn't a temporary sort of burst of enthusiasm you're having. This is a huge life-changing momentum you're going to carry on for some time because of how intense it is and how long it propels throughout the rest of the month. And this is the confirmation that will propel through the end of the month. And then this, all of this, realizing you're good enough, this then creating a sense of enthusiasm within you that has such intensity that leads to what's going on over here with the Six of Wands. So my spirit guide says that it's really important this month that you follow more of this trust within yourself, that you'll make the right decision even if you can't see what is the right decision to make. Very intuition based, but I want to be a little more specific here. It's like how can I put a metaphor into this? It's not just being like, whatever feels good, feels good. It's the metaphor they're showing me in the imagery of the card. See, if you notice, this monster creature has horns, and if these horns were pointed forward, it would be like the equivalent would be like taking precautions in your job or your life to be like, I need these backups to protect me. I need to know that if I fail or make the wrong decision or something happens, I've got these backups, these other job options, this protection of some sort. And this is the sort of without even having to try involuntary protection. But in this case this month, you're going to be putting those down. You're not putting your attention there. You're not worrying about them. You're mentally getting rid of them because if you notice, they are blindfolded and they have this sort of, again, protective element. I think it's called a trident. And they have this trident and they're going to do great. They're going to go into battle. This Six of Wands refers to competition, so we have a bit of a clue that the sort of abundance coming your way is some sort of promotion or new job. It would be something where you're leveling up from where you were at before, and this does include financially. And you're just going to go in there and trust that without being able to truly see, because you have enough experience, because you've done enough, you've proven enough to yourself, and you finally realize that and own that, you're just going to kind of in the moment know the right thing to do. And so when we talk about intuition, I'm not just talking about what feels right. I'm talking about as you make decisions, you have to fully let go and kind of take a Taoist perspective that Taoists believe like the less you try, without trying, you'll naturally fall into the flow and then know the right thing to do next, and the universe will flow in the right way, even if it's mysterious and doesn't seem consecutive in its order of progression, if that makes sense. So in this case, you're going to back up, you're going to in the moment, you're going to move forward in the sense that like you're going to like try out for the position, you're going to try out for the job, you're going to let people know you care about your work, but know that if you don't know the next step forward, know that when it presents itself, your body will naturally take over. You'll just find yourself compelled to speak up, compelled to do the next thing. Follow that in the moment intuition, and that seems to be the thing giving you the next promotion. Don't worry about the details, just understand the moments will present themselves naturally and you will naturally take them. But if you get out of your way in thinking about it so much, you'll be able to see them better and your body will be able to be activated and make this all happen easier. So very, 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 very cool. And with the jade, I just want to point out one last thing. With the jade popping up, it seems like this job is potentially something you're already aware of. This could be the job you're already at and you want to gain a promotion in it. Maybe this is a place you've already worked before, or a profession you've already worked before. There's a sense of familiarity in it, so that gives you a better clue of what you're particularly striving for. But don't forget these, because these are what ignite this. So let's look at love. We got Queen of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Sun card. This is so cute. Okay, my spirit guide's showing me some stuff. Okay, this is so cute. So I'm getting so ooey gooey smiley. This is how the month makes me feel for you. It's super ooey gooey and sweet. So in the Queen of Pentacles going on over here, this is you sort of having harbored and created this like bountiful amount of love, and your perspectives on love, your belief in love, this is love within yourself. It's like you've been working at it for a while and you're quite good at it, and this is think of the bunny as this version of your love, this what you would want in another partner, what you want from yourself. And as you are looking at this little bunny, you're giving it a little kiss goodbye, and you're finally setting it out in the world over the month of September and saying to yourself, okay, let's see what I get back. What I've created it, now I'm ready to see what I'm going to get in return. So this is a confirmation that like all your hard work has paid off, and then what will result in the end from that is what you have. It's like I'm not trying to ramble, I'm just trying to explain that moving forward, as you want to create things, you can understand that because this person that you will connect with, you attracted by this manner, you can go back to this technique in order to attract other things. That's how I want to put it. Now, we've got two different scenarios going on for singles and couples. For couples, this works for singles or couples, but there is a person that you really kind of like admire, and you regularly go to them for their opinion. This can be someone like a mentor or like a teacher or something like this, but this could be a good friend or something. You just kind of, and maybe you're not even best friends, but you're like, you know what, I really feel like they've got a good head on their shoulder, and if I ask them something, I would trust they're making the most educated decision. It's that sort of scenario and vibe. For couples, it's about you going to this other person. It seems like you're gaining some sort of advice to gain you. So you want something deeper in the relationship. This person has this advice for you to take you to the next level in the relationship with your other person. And then for people who are single, this other person, a mentor, they seem to be the person that knows this other person you're going to connect with. So you're definitely going to want to surround yourself with them. Maybe even ask them, be like, oh wait, hold on a second, I just need to see what my spirit guide's saying. No, okay, never mind. My spirit guide's saying, do not ask them, do not force it, just go around them, and this other person may pop up, or maybe this other person, the sort of mentor, advice-giving person will be like, hey, I know someone, do you want to meet them? They're a friend of mine, and the connection will naturally happen. But don't force it. You don't need to ask and propel something that's just going to naturally, divine timingly work out. And then this is the sort of confirmation we got going over here in the Sun card. It's super vague, I know, but I love it. It just simply seems like the connection for single people is made, and it's just absolutely delightful, and that's all you need to know. And for people who are looking to sort of level up or fix what they already have, well, it seems like it goes there, and it becomes a more effortless form of connection. In both scenarios, it's effortless. That's how I would describe September for you. An effortless love connection, and just really fun and spirited, lots of games, lots of humor, really silly, really optimistic, but just none of the more intense levels of overthinking sometimes we have to do in love, and sometimes we have to compromise, sometimes we have to understand each other's stance. That's just not going to be the case for you guys. So I'm very excited for you. And last, let's look at your spirituality. We've got 8 of Swords in reverse, King of Swords upright, and Temperance in reverse. Hold on, my spirit guide's telling me about Temperance. Oh, okay. I kind of feel like this is super going to be related to your job, to be honest with you. Maybe this is just more general with, your general perception in life or whatever. But I feel like it's connected to your job. So this is really cool. This is really awesome what's going on here in September for you. So in the 8 of Swords in reverse, if you notice all the eyes on this person, there is this concern, this worry. The swords often relate to, like, you're too into your own head and it's been holding you back for some time. It's a lot of putting yourself down or seeing that creating some sort of limitation for yourself that doesn't need to be there. And one of the limitations that's being hinted at in this particular card deck is the concern of what other people think of you, and what do you need to do what society expects of you, to put it generally. And it looks like you're overcoming it in September. It seems like it just doesn't bother you. You let it go. You're finally free. And when you're free of these type of things, without these limitations, you become limitless. And the more you emanate this limitless energy, this is a huge domino effect for an enormous amount of not only opportunities, but opportunities that could have much more intense gifts in them than you were expecting. It's like wanting a new job. Maybe you make $40,000 a year and you're making a living, and you're like, I just want a new job, and then now suddenly you're making $80,000 a year and you're making double that amount of money, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I didn't even know I could make that much money. Woo! You know what I mean? That's that sort of huge weight lifted off of your shoulders, which is huge. And one of those things is potentially hinting towards the idea of the perception others might have of you, or you're worried they might have of you, or what is expected of you. That's free and lets go, and that's what creates the limitlessness, which I love. Now, I love what's going on over here with the King of Swords, because sometimes when we're too in our own mind, the way of getting free of that is just kind of not thinking so deeply. What's going on over here instead, and I really have to congratulate you, because this is insanely difficult, I personally think, when you're coming from a mindset perspective, because how do you negotiate getting out of your head when you've built the habit of always being in your head? That's why a lot of people with the 8 of Swords in reverse situation tend to just be like, I'm just giving up all thought and I'm focusing on my emotions more, or something like this. In this case, you actually become free because you become a master of your thoughts. So you've now taken what felt like a crux and made it yours. You own it now. You tell it what to do. You tell it how much to think, or how little to think, or how fast to think. But when you're a King of Swords, you're not only a master master, and so you can you have control of it, but you're a master of it because you know how to use it in your favor. The king is incredibly smart, fast, quick-witted, and they know every decision to make, not only based on their experience of previous knowledge, but more so of they just know how to make the best decision fastest. So you can still rely on this knowledge because you're going to be able to more use it to your advantage rather than having it use you, which I love that. That's a huge success story. And that idea gets continued on over here in the Temperance card in reverse. The way my spirit guide is describing it is they are saying, see how they're stepping in the water right here? If it was upright, they would be stepping into the water. They would be figuring out, the Temperance card often refers to the sense of like balance in life, and it's like understanding what combination of things need to come together for you to feel this sense of tranquility and feeling in the flow of life and this balance within yourself, this harmony in the universe and everything like that. And the Temperance card, if it was upright, it would be you stepping into that, figuring that out, understanding that, asking these questions. Well, in reverse, which is how the card came to us, you are in fact stepping on the stone. You, over this month, have figured out what it is you need to figure out, which we talked about. You figured out what doesn't work for you, but you figured out what creates a sense of balance in you and figuring it out, and you're now a master of it. You're stepping on the stone. You're no longer consumed by the water, but looking over the water. The water's still a part of your life. This sort of water taking the analogy of, again, balance, the proportions of various things to create it. And you're able to consistently observe it, have it involved in your life, but you don't have to go through the exploratory phase anymore. You've got a handle on it. So I love that for you. Please let me know in the comments below, because I'm so curious with the whole jade and movement thing going on. What do you feel was like from your past or going on right now that you can dig deeper into and see what treasures you kind of missed before? I'm genuinely very curious, and I love reading the comments. It's very entertaining for me. And plus, you guys teach me a lot, so I love more knowledge. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving the video a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Maybe even a share. I am wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's look at those September predictions by looking at the cards. We've got Commitment Oracle card in reverse. Amber card upright. Oh, okay. We have a tone set for the month. My goodness. Interesting. Okay, this seems like it's an important theme. It doesn't mean it's the only theme. I just want to point that out. But it is interesting. So for the Amber card, this specifically refers to the idea of looking back towards the past in some kind of way in order to heal wounds. But this is super generalized because the past could involve family, it could be someone you previously dated, it could be a friend, it could be wounds from the past involving like maybe you don't have to go talk to those people, or maybe it's not even particular people, it's like an incident that created an idea in your head, but it's about revisiting that idea and then healing from it. But healing could be anything. Healing could be finally letting it go. It could be facing it. It could be talking it out with someone. It could be anything. But it's the idea of the past being healed this month. But the reason why I went, is going on over here with the Commitment card in reverse. This implies, for definite, now is not the time to commit. It's not a good prospect. It's not a good idea. Now, this can have a wide range of ideas too. I'm getting pulled towards this feeling like if it is an issue with something like family or something like that, don't go see them. Do all the healing by yourself. It's not going to do you any good. And if you do, or if this involves the idea of your process of healing involves going to see them, and that's a part of your journey, and that's fine. If there is some sort of offer given to you of like, well, now do you want to hang out? Hey, do you want to come over later? I have a job offer if you're interested. Don't take it. Don't do it. This card doesn't pop up very often. Take it seriously. So on one hand, yay, your wounds will be healed. On two, some sort of ominous thing that we can't avoid and you will avoid. So yay. I mean, that's good too. But this to me doesn't feel like the only motif of the month, if that sort of makes sense. It just feels like something important you should know so you can dodge feeling uncomfortable. Now let's look at money. We've got 5 of Swords upright, 3 of Wands upright, and 2 of Wands in reverse. Oh, hold on, my spirit guides talking up a storm. Give me a second. Okay, this one's a little interesting too, but keep in mind we can all use this to our advantage, so to speak. Okay, so first off, 5 of Swords. My spirit guide says during September, do not engage in any single confrontation at all. But this confrontation, I'm going to keep it as a wider range. This is money, just to remember. So we're talking about like your career-based stuff. So if this is a coworker and they want to be passive aggressive, let them be passive aggressive. Let it wash over you. Do not let it define you, but do not engage back. If a boss is trying to egg you on, don't retaliate. Leave it alone. You're being forewarned. It's not a good time. Don't take the bait. Maybe it could even be, hold on, my spirit guide's talking. Okay, I was going to say it could potentially be gossip, like don't engage in gossip, but they're like, it's not gossip. So just be aware if you feel some sort of pushback, to put it lightly, with another individual in your career-based situation, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Do not engage. It doesn't define you. Let it wash over you. Let it roll off your shoulders. It's just not a good time. You're not going to be happy with the results. And now this is where it gets sort of very vague with what's going on over here in the 3 of Wands. My spirit guide says that over the course of September, you can be aware, but you might not be aware of how deeply your energy is affecting everybody around you. And the reason why I think that's interesting is I was trying to gauge more of like, oh, is something that you're personally putting out causing this sort of confrontation? And they just said, I'm keeping it vague. So I'm thinking it's a much more wider range. Now keep in mind this is a general reading, so that makes sense. But you know me, I like to get and can get as detailed and specific as possible in these readings. So in what's going on over here is it could be anything from, because you're possibly dealing with a healing wounding thing and you're putting this sort of energy, maybe you're enticing sort of people because they feel, it's almost like you're emanating this vibe of like, you're feeling and thinking of the conflicts of the past, and that's resonating then around you. That's sort of the energy that's being created around you, and you don't want to engage because you're currently healing. And if you engage, you're not coming from a healing place, you're coming from a wounded place, and that won't make you feel better. And there could be larger consequences for your career that you won't be the happiest about. So not a good time to gauge. But this is also an awareness of like, ooh, maybe if I'm having a particularly conflicted day, oh, my spirit guide's like pointing like, yes. If you're having a particularly conflicted day, you can be like, wow, if so many people are fighting around me or feeling grumpy or trying to kind of come at me, that's less of something I need to take personally and more of a compass. I normally use the term inner compass, but this is a compass around you of you're affecting the atmosphere. You're particularly conflicted that day. That would be a day you want to give yourself extra love and tender and care in order to make your situation a better situation. But this is an awareness of how powerful you are. Remember, you could easily turn your energy around you, the vibrations you're putting off, the sort of atmosphere around you, into a very abundant atmosphere of money. It could be a really happy place. It could be whatever. But sometimes we have those time periods in our life where we're just trying to feel better. You know what I mean? So you can turn it into an abundant sort of vibration mindset. It seems like you're very palpable, you're very strong and powerful in that way. But if at the minimum you can just feel better and protect yourself from any sort of unnecessary conflict, we love that too. And the last bit going on over here with the career is keeping this in mind. It gets repeated again in the 2 of Wands in reverse. This is actually kind of funny. My spirit guide is pointing out the expression going on over here and the eyes. Now upright, we got a little smiling, happy monster, very happy with whatever he's done. And in reverse, it's a frown. My spirit guide says, do not allow the rest of what could happen next by your emotions. Just because you might have a moment where you don't feel great, or you didn't like the experience, or you're not feeling happy with whatever you're putting out, don't let that to be the defining place going on. With it being the Two of Wands, if you know the whole like consecutive order of how tarot cards get read, there's like a progression of like, in this card's usually defined as the planning card. My spirit guide says it has nothing to do with planning in this particular situation. This is more based on, it's the beginning stage of another journey. So when you're feeling unhappy, understand that that's not definitive of the rest of the journey. You're still in sort of the incubating planning stage, so to speak. And so you can just allow this to be something that you're like, oh, I'm catching myself, I see it, I'm not happy with it, I'll work on it right now. But that doesn't then detail and mean everything's going to be rough after that. So this could potentially indicate if someone's picking a fight with you, you don't have to be like, that's the rest of how the rest of your day is going to go. You know what I mean? So this way you'll be able to navigate the waters and change everything into a much more tranquil, content, nice atmosphere for you, your coworkers, everything. It'll just be, we're trying to keep you safe and happy, essentially. So let's see what's going on with love. Got the Magician, the Lovers, Six of Cups. See, that past thing is coming up again. That is super important for you in September. Okay, so I can already go into this. This is actually super cute, super positive. This is just the positive sort of what was the money segment of this month for you was a little like, we're trying to keep you safe and maybe even change things so it's not regularly conflicting the rest of the month. This is sort of an indicator of how you can amp that up even more. And also this general sense of like you could totally 180 this month and turn it to your own. And I can see that nonetheless, maybe not in your career at every moment, you'll be absolutely happy with the atmosphere. But outside of that, you will outstandingly be. So over here, the Lover's card represents a couple different things. For some people, it's just you're already with somebody. It's really lovely. It's nice. For others, I do see a connection being built that is just really super beautiful and wonderful. It's just love at first sight sort of vibe. It's just easygoing. You just want to spend every moment with each other. And for others, I know this is super vague, but keep in mind this is necessary for this general reading. All three are included in this category. And for some of you, you might not meet someone in particular, but you're just kind of in love with love. You're emanating it. You're feeling it for your friends, for the ones you do care about, for yourself. And there's just this general sense of abundance and love that you're emanating. Either way, it's a very powerful feeling for you this month, and it's important for you because of what's going on in the Magician card and the Six of Cups. So with the Magician card related to the Lover's card, and these two are connected, it seems like through this connection that you're either having with someone you're currently with, you're going to be with this month, or just in general, we can say for all three categories, this general sense of happiness and connection you feel with love throughout this month, you are going to be a commander. I do not use that lightly, of your universe. The Magician knows how to wield everything, all his tools in his belt, to be able to manifest and create whatever he wants. With this sort of amplifier, your antenna being your connection with love, and specifically with other people, this is what propels you to very easily manifest the things you want. So this goes back to the idea of what we talked about with what you're emanating here. You can always change it to your favor. If you feel like you're just trying to figure out wounds of the past and you can feel maybe a bit of a tumultuous work experience, connect back with this other person, or this idea of this other person you want to be with being your factor that changes your atmosphere and therefore changes the atmosphere around you. Because what's going on over here, Six of Cups. Again, this is a warning about with the commitment thing. It does seem like the past is included again. This would be directly involved with something that specifically wounded you. It seems like there is the potential to have the distraction, the contact of the family member, the contact of that ex, the friend. There's some sort of feeling or idea of them trying to be like, look over here, get your love over here. But it affects you deeply and you don't want it. We saw how it can affect you deeply. So with the Magician card and both of these cards talking about this, my spirit guide says that this indicates how intense your power is based on the connection you have with others. If the connection feels confusing and weird and rough, then that translates in how you connect to the world around you. But if you're connecting with others that you feel really confident and trusting with, and you're just loving love in all those its different forms, then baby, it's magic. So I love that for you, because there is the love triumphing over, I'm going to jokingly call it evil, and you will ultimately be guided more towards this, but understand that when this pops up, again, do not be distracted by it. It is just an example to show you your positive connection, because sometimes when we have a negative reaction, it's showing us, oh wow, it seems I have really powerful emotional reactions to this. Can I also turn this into a positive emotional reaction and use it to my advantage? Yes, and you will. So I'm happy for you. Now let's look at spirituality. Don't worry about the Lover's card being in reverse. Has nothing. We're talking about spirituality now. We have Knight of Pentacles and Justice card in reverse. Wow, all in reverse. Yeah, okay, this definitely goes back to, I'm going to actually pull out a card, for example. This Two of Wands thing. It's like there's all this, I can tell you right now, you're going to have a really good time outside in your personal life as you're living life with connections with others and fun, and you're going to have a great time. But this is something that can affect you spiritually and potentially can pop up in your workplace. Again, we can change all of this, but this goes back to the idea of how powerful you are, the potential of where it can go, but that my spirit guide says that you can change all of this. This is all changeable. So with the Lover's card being in reverse, this is more of a feeling of disappointment, promises not being kept, things not working out, this feeling of disappointment. It doesn't mean that there is going to be disappointment. It just means that if something doesn't go quite your way, and we're going to refer to it not as like a desire, but more of what you were hoping to happen doesn't get fulfilled. So it's not like a wish of like, I want a lot of money. It's like the feeling of you're hoping a situation will work out more in your favor. It's like a good example is, let's say you were playing a competition with friends and you were expecting or hoping you'd win some of the matches, and then you don't. And then this is what then leads to the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. There becomes a fixation on, I've got to win, I've got to change my mood, I don't like that this is way, and it's too singularly focused. That singularly focused comes from what's going on in the Justice card, which has two double situations going on meaning-wise. For blanketly, for all of it, it's referring to this idea of when things don't feel equitable in exchange. You're just so aware of it. It becomes such a fixation that it's interesting. The more you focus on things in life, often the more you push it away. You've noticed this probably with love, money, with whatever. It feels further and further away the more you fixate on it. Well, if you're so aware of the inequality of something working out, or the exchange of the situation, or how you should be treated at work or whatever, the more you're kind of creating an imbalance. And keep in mind, it's as simple as pulling away from it, not focusing it, not taking it too seriously, not defining what happens next by the not great feeling now, as we talked about here in the Two of Wands. But with the Justice card, this does again talk about karma. Karma is important here when we talk about what's going on with the past, the people from the past in the Amber card and the Six of Cups card we talked about underneath this. When we keep encountering people in our life, or not keep encountering people in our life, how do I want to put it? When the connection is very intense to the point of volatile, when it's not a great connection between someone, but you can't let it go, this is because we're working through soul connections and issues that we had previous issues with people in the past. If we're not aware on a conscious level, and not everyone is able to hop over the spirit realm and just pass over past lives. Keep in mind, I just want to put this out there, I can totally make a whole video on past lives. I love talking about past lives. I've passed over an enormous, I mean like in the thousands of past lives. I love it. But if you're not consciously aware of how to do that, we try to set ourselves up with scenarios before we like hop into our bodies in this lifetime in order to work out issues of the past so we can fully let it go. So you keep having these wounds pop up with this other person or people or whatever because you're trying to work it out. So that is why you can become singularly focused. That's why it's such a big deal when the promise isn't fulfilled, because it's this idea of like, you let me down, we've worked so hard to work this out, figure it out, why isn't this figuring it out? Now, I do want to put something else out there, that this is all changeable due to perspective and not letting things be taken too seriously and getting yourself hung up on it. But I do also want you to keep in mind that you can actually fix and change karma contracts, which just basically means sometimes you might have a karma contract with somebody else. Again, I can totally make a video talking all about this, but in these karma contracts, you can potentially be in a situation where you keep encountering the same people until you guys get it fixed. And it might not just be issues, it's just like you feel like you need to keep running into each other for whatever that reason may be. And you can actually in this lifetime be like, it's not working, I don't like it, I want to fix this karma contract, I want to tear it up, it's not working, we're done, I'm cutting it off so I don't have to encounter you anymore in this lifetime, and I don't have to encounter you anymore in other lifetimes. I can be free of this pain, we've tried it, it's not working out. That doesn't mean you're less loving. Like sometimes it's not meant to happen. Everyone's in charge of their own issues and across multiple lifetimes, this lifetime, everything. And they might have a longer journey that you just don't need to carry that weight anymore. If they're not willing to kind of get on the bandwagon, then they need to go down to their own path, and you can then keep elevating on your path. And most likely you'll probably run into each other again one day, better people. So again, all fixable, all changeable, but these are sort of your forewarnings of like, don't allow this to get you stagnant. But this is also an understanding why you're so emotionally triggered. So I'm excited for you. There's a lot of good coming out this month. There's a lot we foresaw so you could avoid it and change it, work it to your advantage. You're now aware of how powerful you are. I'm very excited for you. Please let me know in the comments below. Is there someone in particular that you're hoping to kind of let go of that wound with? How do you like to approach fixing the wound? Is journaling, or do you like to meditate? I would love to know. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. I'll hit that bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, let's get ready for our final group number 4. Group number 4. Let's look at those September predictions by looking at the cards. We've got Into the Unknown Oracle card, and okay, wish me luck on this one. Chrysocolla. Please let me know in the comments down below if I got anywhere near close. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, I love this. This is super ominous in a good way. I love this. I love how ominous this is. Now, the interesting thing is, and I have looked this up, so I'm pretty certain I'm correct, I use ominous in a pretty relative tone, in a positive way, because ominous is not, I know it's often used in a negative way for movies of like, ooh, it's ominous, what's gonna happen next? But in fact, it just means something is impending, it's vague, it's unknown, but it's coming, and it can refer to positive and negative. And in this case, I kind of love that so much is being clearly already said up in the air. We're only going to go so far in knowledge, because sometimes that's necessary. Both of these cards do confirm to positive endings, so I'm happy about that. But I kind of love that it's both positive and super ominous, especially with the connotation going on here with the Chrysocolla one. So anyways, Into the Unknown Oracle card is very much like the imagery. It is the idea of blindfolding yourself and taking one step forward before the other and having complete trust, even though you don't know if you're going to take a step and fall down the flight of stairs, or you're going to walk and continue to catch the flooring and move in a new room and part of the house you didn't even know existed, and really be happy with what you find. But it's about sometimes knowing in life you have to let go. Sometimes you need to not know and just kind of move forward with trust. So this is a lot of like taking a step forward or choices in life and only knowing from one moment to the next and not worrying about the future, or just kind of like setting a general positive intention of like, I'd like things to work out nicely, and then just taking each day by day, moment by moment, and knowing that you won't know what is going to happen next, and you're not going to try to figure it out, and you're just going to keep making decisions based on your intuition. And that includes when you get an option and you're not quite sure if it's the right option or not. Go with what feels best. It seems like this sense of trust that you're building is important, and not knowing what's next is also important too. Weirdly, sometimes that's a life lesson we need to learn, of being trusting in the unknown. But also with the chrysocolla, sounds like someone's name. Anyways, chrysocolla, crystal, this talks about speaking your truth. And I love this weird pairing. So something about you standing up for yourself, speaking from the heart, being completely honest with yourself, with others, just living in that over the course of September, and the connection it has to trusting and moving forward into the unknown seems to be correlated. Hopefully we'll get more details, because this is so interesting of a pairing. So let's first do money. We have 8 of Pentacles upright, the World card in reverse, and 6 of Swords upright. Okay. Again, we have that ominous thing brought up again, and my spirit guides, this is so cute, my spirit guides was like, my spirit guide I was speaking to was like, you don't get to know, I'm keeping it vague on purpose. They said that it's like a surprise, so it's this excitement of, you don't know what you're gonna get, it is gonna be a little surprising when you get it, but you're gonna be happy with whatever you get. So I love that. Sometimes our spirit guides, when they are a part of the creating process with everything, they know how you will best enjoy receiving the information, both enjoyment and what will be the most helpful. So sometimes they get really excited if it's needed that you need to not know. They consider it kind of like a sort of surprise party. It's very fun for them. So they're excited, and you should be excited. But we can get more specific here. So it seems like you need to, as you're going to work, focus over the course of this month of doing the day-to-day. So don't worry about what's going to happen next. Again, it goes back to the whole trusting the unknown thing. Just kind of be really lost in your work itself. Definitely with the 8 of Pentacles showing up now is a great time to get into all the little details. How can you perfect it and make it the bestest, fastest, thorough product, concept, whatever it is that you do for a living, and how can you do that to the best of its efficiency and not stress about what will then happen next, or is it good enough, or burning yourself out, but just losing yourself in the moment, like feeling very present by enjoying the work itself. Again, it's not about then at the end of the day accomplishing so much of a quantity of number, or beating yourself up about like, what if I did the most perfect degree? It's not about perfection. It's about how can you both enjoy yourself and kind of getting lost in your work, but enjoy the process of learning on the job and refining it and making it better as you go, which is really fun and interesting. But this sort of idea kind of keeps getting vaguely built upon, but again, I say vague because I'm not getting specifics. My spirit guide says over here with the 6 of Swords, it does not take the traditional translation of 6 of Swords, but instead talks about this idea of your mindset affecting you in a really great way over this month. So positive vibrations, or high vibrations I more want to focus on, are extremely powerful, but you can receive them through an enormous amount of ways depending on what you need sort of tweaked or helped. In this case, your sort of path to this high, intense, positive vibration, think of this as like love and peace and enlightenment, these like big sort of feelings. This will be achieved through the mind, through your mindset. So definitely, again, I don't want to put in too much specifics because I am being told you need to kind of figure it out as you go, but to give some kind of clues and indicators, it would be like kind of every couple hours throughout the day, take a second and kind of like have a sort of affirmation you put out there. I anticipate I'm going to have a fun night. I anticipate I'm going to see something of wonder. I anticipate that I'm going to feel the best I've ever felt. And you just kind of keep putting that out there every now and then, but it is mindset oriented that achieves you to this positive vibration. Keep in mind though, this is still really big. It could be like all of a sudden you have a random encounter with someone and it's a really good conversation, and this conversation stimulates your mind and triggers all of this positive vibration. But this paired with this, oh my goodness, that is something big, and I can see it cooking up and brewing with the World card in reverse. I'm being told by my spirit guide, and I can see for myself and the card itself, that something big is cooking up. You're not going to see the full fruition of it or the receiving it in its entirety in this September month. Now keep in mind, with the vague, ominous, sort of unknown vibe, you will receive something this month, but as much as you will enjoy that thing you will receive via, and this could be anything from like a better position, more money, but those are too small of a terms to describe this sort of energy being thrown my way by my spirit guide. You're going to be particularly excited about this. For all I know, the thing that triggers this excitement is a whole new career that you're going to love and be enthusiastic about that's very successful. But as good as that's going to feel, there's something bigger impending. Like you're almost there. Maybe it will come in October or November, but it's coming. It's letting you know that it's coming, that if you liked this, that's great, but it's even bigger in the next month or two. And keep that in mind, that you're almost there. You're not quite there yet because you're meant to be kind of like chilling out and receiving something else, but get excited that there's even more. So it's like blessings on top of blessings, which we love. So now let's look at love. Got the Moon card, 10 of Pentacles, and 6 of Wands in reverse. Oh, this is so cute. We have another interesting impending situation. I can see why the Into the Unknown is being used for you. It's like you're going to enjoy the joy of not knowing what's happening next, and that process and that trust and building that trust within yourself. But it's this feeling of like you get something that we're not aware of at some point in this month, but then there's always something else. It's always like the unknown is kind of creating this ambiance for you to trust that there's always something else, even if you can't see it. I kind of feel like that's my spirit guide's nodding their head. It's like that's the greater lesson you're learning this month by being in the unknown, by knowing that the unknown is limitless, technically, because you don't know what's going to happen next. So then you open up this mental possibility of like, well, this is great, but I could get even something better or something in addition, so on and so forth, which is a really fun lesson to learn. And you're learning it in a very fun way. Sometimes life lessons, well, they might not always be fun to experience. In this case, it will be. So this is where it gets really interesting in the impending situation we were talking about. So the Moon card does talk explicitly about a secret admirer. Someone is admiring from you from afar, and they seem like it's a pretty cute, loving connection. However, I can see it being confirmed here, and my spirit guide has already told me that this is not going to be realized in this particular month. It will be soon, but it's not going to be for a little while. Just know that that's like the person you're more leading towards. However, what's going on over here, though, is more heavily concentrated on this other person that you're with. So there's going to be somebody else, and this is where it gets really interesting in the sort of vibes, and you need to kind of trust in the process. Why this is the whole unknown thing. You're kind of being given a little bit of a hint of the vibe. So when you first meet this other person, or you're currently with them, this sort of connection, this is going to feel more intensely friendship than love oriented. Like you will feel some sort of romance and maybe a love that's a little more than friendship, but it is more heavily comfort level. This is going to be a comfort connection, and you're going to have a nice time. It's going to be really close. It's going to feel like your best friend, but friendship will be more of the connecting theme here than like whirlwind romance. You know what I mean? We have like different feelings and connections in that way. And it seems like you're going to have a really good time with them, and you're meant to go into this process because of what's going on over here in the Six of Wands. If you notice, we have the similar yellow color. I know that's a little bit different shade, but it's meant to be connecting. Similar yellow color. Imagine this, man's best friend is the common term for this puppy being this other person you're with. And think of in the background this impending other person you're really meant to be with. It seems like when you have this sort of deep connection with this other person, you have a really nice time and there's this lack of pressure, you're going to gain a lot of confidence being with them, with yourself, with life. It's just going to be a huge confidence booster within yourself. And that's super important for you right now. See, imagine you didn't see this reading, and it's okay that you did. It's not going to change anything. You want to go with the process, you want to trust. This would be an example of trusting in the unknown. You build a connection with someone, it's nice, you enjoy it for the time it has. I kind of already get this vibe that when it ends, it will end very amicably and nicely and be very smooth transition. And then you just kind of actually get to meet the love of your life, but you wouldn't have been ready for this other person without this sort of in between and this comfort that you needed to build within yourself. So you're going to have a really nice time. I'm not saying it's not romantic at all. There is some romance here and you're going to enjoy it, but you will find it's a totally different connection than what you will experience when this person gains the courage, because that's the main thing that's holding them back. When you ask yourself, well, what am I doing? You're not doing anything. They're very shy and they're a little nervous about letting you know. And you being with this other person, you don't need to worry about it being the reason why they're not approaching you. It's just not important. It's sort of like a timing thing and what you need to go through and they need to go through. They need to go through their shyness. You need to gain confidence for yourself. So beautiful. Love that. And then last but not least, we have spirituality. Five of Swords. Yes, see, that confidence thing gets repeated again. I love this. Okay, so Five of Swords in reverse, Three of Wands in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse. And that's where the Chrysola got repeated. I love this. Okay, this is all coming together beautifully. I love that about tarot. So with the Five of Swords in reverse, it seems like you're going to be sort of apologizing and forgiving yourself for some stuff. From the sort of tense, the subtext I'm picking up from the Five of Swords in reverse and the Three of Wands in reverse, I can tell this is something where you feel like maybe you were really looking outwardly in life and you were really looking into, the best way to put it is you were looking outside yourself, you were putting all your energy in different places and nothing really paid off, and you maybe look back and feel like you maybe wasted time, whether that be emotionally, a version of yourself, energy towards a particular path, career-wise or whatever, and you kind of feel like you're ragging on yourself a little bit. It seems like this month you're going to kind of finally realize that you need to let that go, and you're going to finally realize that by letting it go, you essentially open yourself up to a whole new perspective, which is the perspective that will catapult you forward. So there's a sense of forgiving yourself and being like, hey, I was young, I made a mistake, or, how would I know now what I know now if I didn't go through that then? Is that wasted time, or did I learn something really big and important? And I'm just telling you this right now. You might not see it immediately because sometimes we have to forgive ourselves like multiple times. I'm just telling you this from my own personal experience. And not only from me, but other people I've witnessed, it is wild how much you might be like, oh, well, something didn't work out. Now I know that didn't work out. And then in the long term in life, you gain some sort of skill that then later helps you in life. And you're like, yeah, I wasn't meant to do that as a full-on career, but oh, wow, it really helps in this department, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So you're going to love this. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to have one stage of forgiveness, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to grow and you're going to be that much more at peace, that much happier, and really see the bigger effect of how you and the universe all come together. But this forgiving yourself leads to what's going on in the Three of Wands reverse. This is like finally, and this is so cute what my spirit guide said. They said that you realize how special you are and you look inside yourself. You stop looking outwardly like we talked about and you look inwardly. And you start asking yourself over the September month, what's so great about me, and actually seeing it and connecting with it and enjoying it. Now this is sort of subtext again, but whenever we got a Three of Wands situation in reverse, this is always the beginning stages of, if you understand what's special about you, it's like you emanate that and then other people see it and just naturally get drawn to you. But by figuring out, well, what is it that you like about yourself, you then pinpoint and more specialize and tweak what is then the type of people I want attracted to me, the experiences I want to have. And so it's like looking inwards and going, you know what, I lied to myself. I don't really like cooking. I like playing video games or whatever. And then instead of having a bunch of chef friends, this is an odd metaphor, but then in turn you start attracting more video game oriented minded people, and then you're really happy because you got what you truly wanted, but you wouldn't have known that if you didn't look inside. But this is more special because normally the Three of Wands refers to sort of passions and hobbies, and this is more loving yourself on a deep level and realizing how cool you truly are, and connecting to that. So we love that for you. A part of that process is the Queen of Swords over here. It's not being read in reverse, it's facing and going towards the Three of Wands for my fellow tarot readers, and both of these are, as you can see. And in this case, it's about being honest with yourself and being like finding a sense of harmony and self-love by realizing, are you really that awful? Like, is that the truth? Like, be honest with yourself. There's nothing cool about yourself. And by being more honest with yourself, you're forced to face, like, you've got a lot of great stuff going on there. In fact, when we have a Queen of Swords scenario popping up, it's this really beautiful connotation or subtext that there is something worth loving there already. You don't even really need to work on it or build up to it. So I love that for you. The least amount of effort or having to put in work, the best, the most possible. Oh my goodness. My ability to speak just totally comes apart as I'm trying to translate everything. Anyways, I'm very excited for your unknown. Please let me know in the comments. Is there something in particular you hope it to be, or maybe you with your psychic senses, because we're all psychic, if there's something you can kind of feel it is? How do you feel about this unknown? Are you cool with this? Do you feel like this is a lesson you've been needing to learn? Is there something in particular you're excited about? Let me know. Love reading the comments. I love it. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite things to do. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling. I will see you in the next one, and I'm wishing you the best. Bye!